As we just heard, President Lee Jae Myung embarks on his 11-day trip to the U.S. and South America today, with his first stop in San Francisco to hold a series of meetings with the CEOs of major tech companies. For more on what to look out for, we're joined today by Professor Kim Dong-soo, professor at the Division of International and Area Studies at Pukyong National University. Professor Kim, thanks for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
So, Professor, President Lee opens this trip in San Francisco, where he's set to meet the CEOs of AI giants like Nvidia, OpenAI and Anthropic. So what can Korea hope to walk away with from these meetings, and how significant would it be if these talks produce long-term investment deals rather than just symbolic agreements?
I think President Lee's meetings with the CEOs of Nvidia, OpenAI and Anthropic could help South Korea secure stronger access to AI chips, computing infrastructures, joint research, and advanced AI technology. These partnerships would support South Korea's goal of becoming a leading AI hub and strengthen its competitiveness across key industries. The key question is whether these meetings lead to a concrete investment rather than just a symbolic agreements. While memorandums of understanding are politically meaningful, long-term commitments such as AI data centers, research labs, and infrastructure investment would have a much greater economic impact by creating jobs, attracting further investment, and boosting Korea's long-term AI competitiveness.
Right, so from there, the president heads on to Brazil for a state visit, and officials have said talks may include reviving trade negotiations. So how central is Brazil to Korea's broader strategy of diversifying its critical mineral supply chain?
Brazil is a key partner in Korea's strategy to diversify its critical mineral supply chain. As one of the world's leading producers of lithium, nickel, graphite, and other rare earth minerals, Brazil offers Korea an opportunity to reduce its dependence on a limited number of suppliers and secure more stable access to essential resources for batteries and semiconductors. If the two countries revive trade negotiations and strengthen cooperation on critical minerals, Korea could secure more reliable supply chains while expanding economic ties with Latin America. Long-term agreements in mining and resource development would also enhance Korea's energy security and support the growth of its electric vehicle and high-tech industries.
Right, and continuing on with his tour in the South Americas, President Lee will also move on to meet with the newly inaugurated president of Chile to discuss modernizing the two countries' free trade agreement. And notably, Chile was Korea's very first FTA partner. So what does modernizing that agreement actually mean in practice, and why does the timing, so soon after Chile's new government took office, matter?
Modernizing the Korea-Chile FTA means updating the agreement to reflect today's economy rather than the trade environment of 20 years ago. In practice, this could include the expanding cooperation in digital trade, critical minerals, and clean energy investment and supply chain resilience, while also improving market access and updating outdated trade rules. The timing is also very significant because meeting Chile's newly inaugurated president allows both countries to set the agenda early in the new administration. It creates an opportunity to strengthen bilateral ties from the outset and move forward with the FTA upgrades that support Korea's long-term economic and supply chain strategy, particularly in securing critical minerals for high-tech industries.
Right, and finally, on the last leg of his South America's tour, the president travels to Argentina, which marks the first visit by a Korean head of state that in more than 2 decades. So what do you think has driven this renewed interest in Buenos Aires after such a long gap, and what would you watch for during this trip?
Argentina has regained South Korea's attention because it holds some of the world's largest reserves of critical minerals, especially lithium, which is essential for electric vehicle batteries and other high-tech industries. The visit also reflects South Korea's broader strategy of expanding economic partnerships in Latin America and reducing dependence on a limited number of resource suppliers. To judge whether this visit delivers real economic results, I would look for concrete outcomes such as investment agreements in lithium or energy projects, or long-term supply contracts, joint ventures between Korean and Argentine companies. These tangible commitments would have a much greater impact than the symbolic diplomatic announcements.
Well, Professor Kim, it looks like there's a lot to watch out for during this trip. Thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.